7.2, day 1. It's going to take us a couple days. We're doing some proofs. Today is 12/14. Feels right? All right. Now, we're going to take this really slow and have a discussion about this, but you need to be invested, okay? You really have to be paying attention and focus on it. You can't be talking to each other. You can't be thinking about other things. I know that you want to. I know that this isn't your favorite class of the day. Well, maybe it is for some of you, but you're going to have to give it this time all your focus. Everybody write down what I'm writing down. I wrote down cotangent plus 1 equals cosecant times parentheses cosine theta plus sine theta. What's the goal of a proof?
So it's right. So that they're equal.
To show that they're equal. This is not solving anything, okay? We're not something that you need to look, everybody look up and look at my face, okay? This is something important that you're going to have to realize. Everybody, look at me. You may not do what we always do when we're solving things where we're like, okay, I'm going to add 5 to this side, add 5 to that side. We're not even going to cross this line. We're just trying to make the two sides look alike. That's our goal. We're going to change this side and change this side until they look alike. And here's also the problem with proofs, which is going to make some of you happy and a few of you unsettled. There are many different ways to do this, which means that it's very hard for me to grade these things because sometimes the way I think to do something isn't the way you thought to do something, but you're still right. So you basically just change it until one side looks like the other. So we're going to take this nice and slow. There are a couple different ways you could tackle this, and I'm going to explain how. Does anybody have an idea when they're looking at this, which side they feel like we could start to change? Sam?
Do the second side.
This side?
Yeah.
Okay, so Sam's plan right now is he just said, it looks like we could distribute. Do you guys agree? Now, I think that one easy way to do proofs, and it's not always the best way, but one way that is very easy to do proofs is to simple it down to x and y's, just like we did. So let's start there, and then we'll distribute. Okay? So I'm going to write down cotangent is x over y plus 1. How much of this do you remember by now, by the way? Do you remember that cotangent is x over y? Or do you have to look it up? If you remember it, awesome. And if you don't, no problem. You'll always have your unit circle, but nobody's surprised, right? Like you know where that comes from? Okay, what's cosecant? 1 over y times parentheses x plus y. And I'm also going to put these over 1. Why do you think I'm doing that?
Fraction.
Just to make it a fraction so that when I distribute, it'll be easier for me. All right, and then Sam said we should distribute, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to keep this side. I'm not changing it at all. This side turns into x over y plus y over y.
Yep.
Y over y is 1. So this is x over y plus 1 equals x over y plus 1. We're already done. Do you see how they look exactly the same on both sides? But hey, you have to change it back into trig functions. So make sure you write, this is actually cotangent of theta plus 1 equals cotangent of theta plus 1. And then to show you're done, you put a check mark and then you write QED. QED is something that you write at the end of proofs. Did Ms. Sickink ever teach you about QED? QED stands for, or Thorson taught you, it's Latin, and it is quod erat demonstratum, which means I proved what you wanted me to demonstrate. So basically, look, I demonstrated it, I proved it, QED. QED is a very satisfying thing to say, and I will tell you that the next homework assignment, I won't be reading out any of the answers because every single answer is QED. I proved it. So really the question is, can you prove it? And we're going to do 5 of these together right now. Some of them will be harder than others. Does everybody understand what we just did? Okay. Even if these look complicated, sometimes you just have to pick at them for a while before they work. Example 2. Tangent squared theta times parentheses 1 plus cotangent squared theta equals 1 over 1 minus sine squared theta. You know what? I don't want to do this one next. I want to do this one third. Leave it. Just give yourself some room, about the same amount of room you gave question 1, and then we're going to write down example 3 and go back to it, okay? I just don't like the order I'm doing it in. Don't erase it. Just leave yourself some room, and we're going to go on to example 3. Can we handle this, or are you all freaking out? You're freaking out? Okay, then erase it and write this one, buddy. All right, let's try this one first. Cotangent squared theta, parentheses, tangent squared theta plus 1, parentheses, equals cosecant squared theta.
Could you move your
Cotangent squared theta, parentheses, tangent squared theta plus 1, equals cosecant squared theta. Ideas.
X, Y.
You could change them into x's and y's. It will work.
tangent squared theta plus 1 is secant squared.
Okay, now we don't have a lot of formulas. So what Ryan just said, and what you should be realizing by now, is all the formulas we have squares involved and ones, right? So if you see something like this, do you see how tangent squared theta plus 1 equals secant squared theta? So we're going to change this stuff in the parentheses to secant squared theta immediately. If you hadn't realized that and you had changed it, let's say that you use Sam's way, and instead you changed it to x's and y's, and then I assume, Sam, you were going to think about distributing, it would have worked. It would have been longer, but it would have worked, and I would have still given you full credit for it because it's right. There's multiple ways to do this. All right, now what's the plan?
X and Y.
X's and Y's, but what do you do if they're squared? Like cotangent squared, what should I write for that?
X squared over Y squared.
X squared over Y squared. And secant squared is
1 over X squared.
1 over X squared. It's the opposite of what you think, by the way. Here's how I always remember which one it is. I always think S sine, it's not. It's the opposite one, so it's 1 over x squared instead of 1 over y squared. I want it to be 1 over y squared, but it's not. And then this one is what, 1 over y squared? Now what?
Cancel X's.
Cancel your x squareds. So now I've got 1 over y squared equals 1 over y squared, but remember I've just got to rewrite it back so that it's a trig function. What's 1 over y squared?
Cosecant squared.
Cosecant squared theta equals cosecant squared theta. Check. Q, E, D. QED is like a nerd's version of like throwing down a football after you've made a touchdown. Like it feels very like in your face. I succeeded. I've done this. You said I couldn't. I've done it. QED. Maybe push up your glasses a little too hard on your face, a little angrily. Don't throw down your glasses like a football. Those will break. Probably. Okay. All right. This one is going to be worth a prize, and we're going to see how you do with your partner. Go back to example 2. Try this. I'm gonna come around and help you get started. Talk to your partner. Do not sit there by yourself and work. Talk to each other
How you doing, pal?
about the math. Talk about the math.
I think the 1 minus sine squared is something. Actually, no, it's not. Oh, yeah. And then that's it. 1 plus that equals